G'day everyone, picture this. You're suspended in absolute silence. Above you, the bright, familiar world of sunlight has vanished completely. Below you, there's only an endless, inky blackness. This isn't the open ocean. You're deep inside the Earth's veins, in a flooded cave system where very few have ever dared to venture. This is the world of deep cave diving. It's one of the most extreme and dangerous pursuits on the planet. It's a place where every breath is measured, every movement calculated, and every decision could be your last. So why on earth would anyone do it? Why would you leave the safety of solid ground to explore these submerged, hidden cathedrals? The answer is simple, really. It's for the thrill of pure exploration. It's about pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible. Cave divers are modern-day pioneers, charting the last truly unknown frontiers on our own planet. So, what exactly separates a casual scuba dive from the high-stakes world of cave diving? Well, the biggest difference is the ceiling. In open water, if something goes wrong, if your gear fails or you run low on air, your escape route is simple. You go up. But in a cave, that option is gone. You are in what divers call an overhead environment. The only way out is the way you came in. You can't just swim up, you have to swim back, navigating through potentially complex and narrow passages in total darkness. This single factor changes everything. It transforms diving from a recreational activity into a technical life support mission. Every dive must be planned with military precision. They follow a thin nylon line, their only connection back to the world of the living. Losing that line in the silt and darkness is one of the greatest fears a cave diver can face. In the world of deep cave diving, there are countless incredible sites scattered across the globe. But two locations stand out as true titans, legendary spots that are known to every diver worth their salt. I'm talking about the Zacatón cenote in Mexico and Dean's Blue Hole in the Bahamas. These two natural wonders are more than just deep holes in the ground. They are portals to another dimension, gateways to the mysteries that lie far beneath our feet. First, let's head to Mexico, to the arid landscape of Tamaulipas. Here we find the Zacatón system, a network of geothermal sinkholes or cenotes. The crown jewel is El Zacatón itself, the deepest known water-filled sinkhole in the world. Then we journey east, across the Gulf of Mexico to the sun-drenched shores of the Bahamas. Nestled in a quiet bay on Long Island is a feature that looks like a dark blue eye staring up from the turquoise shallows. This is Dean's Blue Hole. So let's get down to brass tacks. What makes cave diving different from your average holiday scuba dive? It's not just about going deep, it's about going in. The moment you swim under a rock ceiling, the rules of the game change entirely. This means that cave divers can't rely on a single piece of equipment. Everything is about redundancy, about having a backup for your backup. Divers will carry at least 2, sometimes 3 or even 4 independent breathing systems. Before entering a cave system, the first diver in secures this line to a stable point in the open water. Then they unspool it as they penetrate deeper, securing it along the way. Every member of the team must maintain contact with this line, either physically or by sight. The physical challenges of cave diving are immense, no doubt about it. But the real battle, the one that separates the successful from the tragic, is fought inside your own head. Cave diving is perhaps 90% a mental game. The moment you let panic take hold, you start making bad decisions. You breathe faster, consuming your precious air supply. You might lose the line. In the crushing silence of a cave, panic is the ultimate predator. This is why the training for cave diving is so long and so rigorous. Instructors will simulate total light failure, tangled lines, and out-of-air emergencies in controlled but challenging conditions. The goal is to build a diver who doesn't panic when things go wrong. The story of cave diving is a story of human courage and relentless innovation. It didn't start with high-tech rebreathers and powerful LED lights. It began with incredibly daring individuals using gear that seems terrifyingly primitive by today's standards. The equipment has evolved dramatically over the decades. The move from single tanks to back-mounted double tanks was a huge leap in safety. Then came side-mount diving, and the biggest game-changer, the closed-circuit rebreather. This evolution has transformed cave diving from a small daredevil community into a global pursuit with standardized training and a strong safety culture. But the spirit remains the same. a spirit of exploration, of wanting to see what's around the next corner. Right then, our first stop on this epic underwater journey takes us to northeastern Mexico, to the state of Tamaulipas. This isn't the Mexico of tourist beaches and resorts. This is a rugged, semi-arid landscape, home to a geological marvel that has perplexed scientists and lured adventurers for decades. From the surface, it looks like a giant, perfectly circular island of floating grass, adrift in a massive, steaming pool of murky water. It's an otherworldly sight, a place that feels ancient and powerful. The local people have known about Zacatón for generations, and with a place this strange and deep, legends are bound to bubble to the surface. The water is warm, around 30 degrees Celsius, and rich in sulfur, giving it a slightly sour smell and a cloudy, greenish tinge. The visibility is poor, and the sheer vertical walls plunge down into an abyss that, for a very long time, seemed to have no bottom. NASA, the American Space Agency, became intensely interested in Zacatón. They saw it as the perfect training ground for a future mission to explore the ice-covered oceans of Jupiter's moon Europa. A deep, dark, unexplored body of water on Earth was the perfect analog for a deep, dark ocean on another world. Enter the DepthX, which stands for Deep Phreatic Thermal Explorer. This was a multi-million-dollar autonomous underwater vehicle equipped with 57 sonar sensors, Doppler velocimeters, and advanced navigation systems. Its mission was to descend into Zacatón, create the first ever three-dimensional map, and touch the bottom. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The DepthX made its final plunge, descending deeper and deeper. And then it happened. The robot's sensors registered contact. The data streamed back to the surface, revealing the final incredible number. The bottom of Zacatón lay at a staggering 339 meters below the surface. While the DepthX robot had mapped Zacatón, the allure for human divers didn't disappear. Two of the world's most renowned deep divers, Jim Bowden and Sheck Exley, had their sights set on becoming the first humans to touch the bottom of Zacatón, a feat they believed would set the world record for the deepest scuba dive. On April 6, 1994, the two men began their descent. But as they neared their target depth, something went terribly wrong. Sheck Exley began to convulse, a sign of high-pressure nervous syndrome. He lost control and, tragically, never returned to the surface. The world of diving had lost its greatest pioneer. Jim Bowden reached an incredible depth of 282 meters, setting a new world record. But when he finally surfaced after a 9-hour decompression, he learned the devastating news about Exley. The record was a hollow victory, overshadowed by the loss of his friend and mentor. The robotic exploration opened up a whole new set of scientific questions. Zacatón is a phreatic feature formed from the bottom up by volcanically heated, acidic groundwater dissolving limestone bedrock for millions of years. This geothermal activity creates a unique ecosystem with extremophile bacteria that thrive in conditions lethal to most life. These life forms give us clues about how life might exist on other planets like Europa or Mars. The microbes of Zacatón are a living laboratory for astrobiologists, providing insights into the absolute limits of life and the strange ways it can adapt and thrive. Alright, let's leave the geothermal mysteries of Mexico behind and travel east, over the turquoise waters of the Caribbean to the sun-drenched archipelago of the Bahamas. Our destination is Long Island, and nestled in a calm bay is our second legendary dive site. From the air, it looks like a perfect circle of deep, dark indigo set against the brilliant pale blue of the surrounding shallows. It's a stark, breathtaking contrast, like a pupil in a bright blue eye. This is Dean's Blue Hole, the second deepest known saltwater blue hole in the world. The entrance starts in shallow water, just meters from a powdery white sand beach, making it incredibly accessible. Just like Zacatón, this incredible natural feature is steeped in local folklore. Stories were told of the Lusca, a malevolent creature that lived within its dark confines, dragging unsuspecting swimmers down into its depths. For a technical scuba diver, descending into Dean's Blue Hole is a completely different experience from tackling Zacatón. The water here is crystal clear, often with visibility exceeding 30 meters. As you drop over the sandy lip of the entrance, the first thing you notice is the sheer scale of the place. At a depth of around 20 meters, the hole opens up into a massive cavernous chamber, The diameter expands to a staggering 100 meters, creating a space so vast it has been described as an underwater cathedral. It is a truly humbling experience to be suspended in this enormous, silent dome. The formation happened during past ice ages, when the global sea level was much lower. Acidic rainwater dissolved the limestone, carving out this massive underground void. When the ice ages ended and sea level rose, it flooded the chamber, preserving it in its current spectacular state. While Dean's Blue Hole is spectacular for scuba divers, it has truly earned its global fame as the world's premier location for deep free diving. Free diving is the sport of diving on a single breath of air, without any breathing apparatus. It is the purest form of diving, a discipline that tests the absolute limits of human physiology and mental control. The hole has become synonymous with William Trubridge, a New Zealand freediver who established a freediving school right at the hole's edge. In 2010, he became the first human to dive to 100 meters and returned completely unassisted. No fins, no ropes, just his own body's propulsion. The dive took him over 4 minutes on a single breath. The challenge for a freediver is immense. As they descend, the pressure squeezes their lungs to the size of a fist, and their heart rate slows dramatically. They must fight the overwhelming urge to breathe and remain perfectly calm. The ascent is even more dangerous as the risk of shallow water blackout becomes critical in the last few meters. Beyond the human dramas, Dean's Blue Hole is also a fascinating and unique ecosystem. It's a world within a world, with distinct zones of life that change as you go deeper. The rim, bathed in sunlight, is teeming with life like a coral reef, attracting schools of fish, turtles, and rays. As you descend, life becomes scarcer and more specialized. The deeper you go, the lower the oxygen levels become. At the very bottom, the environment is almost completely anoxic, with virtually no dissolved oxygen. This oxygen-starved environment is inhospitable to most marine life, but it's a treasure trove for scientists. The lack of oxygen acts as a preservative, meaning core samples can provide a detailed record of the region's climate and environmental history stretching back through millennia. So Dean's Blue Hole is far more than just a deep pit for divers. It's a complex environment that tells a story of geological change and serves as a window into our planet's past. Now, we've touched on the physical dangers, but the greatest monster lurking in these deep, dark places isn't a mythical beast. It's inside the diver's own helmet. The psychological pressure of deep cave diving is immense, often far more challenging than the physical demands. The human mind simply isn't built for this kind of environment. You are in a place with no natural light, no easy escape, and a profound sense of isolation. Every single second, your brain is fighting against primal instinct screaming that you are in the wrong place. This is why training focuses heavily on stress inoculation. Divers are repeatedly put through simulated emergencies in controlled environments. The goal is to build muscle memory, to ensure that when something goes wrong hundreds of meters from safety, the diver's reaction is calm, procedural, and automatic rather than panicked and chaotic. Beyond the battle in the mind, the physical toll of deep diving is brutal. Your body is subjected to forces it was never designed to endure. For every 10 meters you descend, the pressure increases by 1 atmosphere. At the record-breaking depths of Zacatón, the pressure is over 30 times greater than at the surface. Then there are the gases themselves. At depth, both oxygen and nitrogen become toxic. Under pressure, nitrogen has a narcotic effect, impairing judgment and coordination. To combat this, divers use trimix, blending in helium. But even helium can cause high-pressure nervous syndrome at extreme depths, leading to tremors and cognitive failure. To prevent decompression sickness, divers must make a slow, controlled ascent with long stops at specific depths. A dive that takes only 15 minutes to descend can require a grueling 10, 12, or even 15 hours of decompression on the way back up. Hanging motionless in the water column, a prisoner of their own physiology. In this hostile world, the only thing keeping a diver alive is their equipment. This makes them completely dependent on technology. A deep cave dive is less like a swim and more like a private spacewalk, relying on a complex life support system carried on your back. The sheer amount of gear is staggering, over 100 kilograms of equipment including multiple tanks, rebreathers, lights, and backup systems. The core is the rebreather, which recycles exhaled gas and allows for dives lasting many hours. But this complexity is a double-edged sword with multiple potential failure points. Then there is the absolute necessity of light. In the deep zones, there is no ambient light. Zero. If your lights fail, you are plunged into a blackness so profound it's almost impossible to describe. This is why the rule is to carry 3 independent light sources. A catastrophic multiple light failure leaves a diver completely blind. So we have our 2 titans, Zacatón in Mexico and Dean's Blue Hole in the Bahamas. On the surface, they might seem similar, but when you look closer, they are as different as night and day, each offering a completely unique challenge. Zacatón is a geothermal hot tub, warm, mineral-rich and murky with poor visibility, creating claustrophobia. Dean's Blue Hole is the complete opposite, cold, clear oceanic water with spectacular visibility, creating a sense of agoraphobia in its vast underwater cathedral. Zacatón is a sheer vertical shaft, a relentless drop into darkness and pressure, a pure test of depth endurance. Dean's Blue Hole is more complex, starting as a shaft but blossoming into a colossal bell-shaped cavern. One is a tight, focused challenge of claustrophobic depth. The other is a disorienting journey through an underwater cathedral of epic proportions. So given these stark differences, which hole is the ultimate challenge? Well, that really depends on what kind of diver you are and what you're looking for. It's not about which one is harder. Both are at the absolute pinnacle of difficulty and danger. Instead, it's about the kind of experience you want to have. If you are a technical scuba diver obsessed with pushing the absolute limits of depth and technology, Zacatón is your Everest. Its extreme depth, murky water, and hostile geothermal environment make it a pure, brutal test of equipment, gas planning, and physiological endurance. However, if you are a freediver who wants to test the limits of the human body on a single breath, then Dean's Blue Hole is your paradise. Its clear, calm, and easily accessible depths make it the perfect arena for pure physical and mental performance, less about gear and more about the internal journey. So after plunging into the murky depths of Zacatón and soaring through the vast cathedral of Dean's Blue Hole, we come back to the fundamental question: why? Why do these men and women risk everything to venture into such unforgiving, hostile environments? The answer is as deep and complex as the caves themselves. It is a fundamental human drive to explore, to see what's over the next hill, or what lies at the bottom of the deepest hole. It's the same spirit that drove our ancestors out of Africa, that pushed sailors across uncharted oceans, and that now propels us toward the stars. These divers are the modern-day astronauts of inner space, charting the last truly unknown frontiers on our own planet. In a world that feels increasingly mapped and known, these deep caves are pockets of pure mystery, offering a rare chance for genuine discovery. Every dive into these giants is a test of physical endurance, mental fortitude, technical skill, and unwavering courage. To succeed is to prove you can overcome immense fear and perform flawlessly under unimaginable pressure. It is a journey into the depths of one's own character. The divers who explore them are not reckless daredevils. They are some of the most meticulous, disciplined, and courageous pioneers of our time. They willingly enter the abyss, carrying our collective curiosity with them, and when they return, they bring back stories of wonder that expand the boundaries of our known world and inspire us all to look a little deeper. Ultimately, Zacatón and Dean's Blue Hole remind us that there are still mysteries to be solved and incredible worlds waiting to be discovered, right here beneath our feet. They stand as 2 of the greatest challenges our planet has to offer the modern explorer.